So the other day, I checked out a new movie called Black Olive on the Tubi platform. And after watching this movie, I gotta say that it's one of the craziest movies that I've seen on Tubi this year, and that's not an easy goal to accomplish. And if I had to compare this movie with a movie some of you may have already seen before, then I would compare it to the movie Zola, because it brings the same level of energy, as well as the abundance of WTF moments. But for those of you who haven't seen the movie yet, I'll do my best to summarize it in my own words, and I'll be mentioning some spoilers throughout this review. Black Olive shines its light on the character Olive. We learned early on that Olive's parents and brother were involved in a car crash, which killed her parents and left her brother paralyzed. The situation left Olive depressed and addicted to happy pills. The movie takes us as the viewing audience on a journey as we see Olive navigate through the challenges of making ends meet while taking care of her disabled brother. And Olive tries to do this by engaging in activities like selling drugs, robbery, and linking up with sugar daddies. After watching the movie Black Olive, there were several things that I liked and there were some things that I did not like. I'll start off with the things that I liked about the movie, then transition to what I didn't like. First things first, for the movie Black Olive to be on the Tubi platform, I was thoroughly impressed with the quality of the movie. From the lighting, to the camera angles, to the editing, this movie truly looked like a professional production and not like some of the other content on Tubi that catches flack for being a cheaply rushed project. I also appreciated the character development within this movie. Although the movie has its primary focus on the main character Olive, we also get to learn more about the important people in Olive's life, such as her best friend Yasmin, who is an aspiring dancer and singer, as well as her friend Chloe, who's a professional sugar baby. We as the viewing audience get to see the motivations for Yasmin and Chloe, as well as their own personal motivations and how they impact Olive. For example, at one point in the movie, because Olive is desperate to make money, she takes Chloe's advice and makes the decision to chase sugar daddies in order to make ends meet. But that decision comes back to bite her because being a professional sugar baby is outside of her comfort zone. And lastly, what I liked about this movie was the overall storytelling. I like that Olive is a young adult who's navigating through life the best way that she knows how. And in doing so, she has to resort to doing things that might not be viewed as her making the best decisions. However, she stands 10 toes down on her decisions, regardless of what they may cost her. In my opinion, there are scores of people out there that can definitely relate to Olive. Now, unfortunately, I have to move on to the things that I did not like about the movie Black Olive, and I want to structure this in the form of constructive criticism. First, I want to talk about Olive's moral dilemma. Very early on, it's established that Olive is desperate for money. And this is for very valid reasons, of course. But in her desperation, she was willing to sell hardcore drugs and to a lesser extent, be a sugar baby in order to put food on the table and help her brother out. With Olive being in dire straits, I have to ask myself, why didn't Olive resort to more drastic ways of earning money, such as OnlyFans, stripping, or escorting? Sure, I have to acknowledge that there were several times throughout the movie where Olive made it clear that she was not comfortable with the idea of sleeping with men for money. But the movie doesn't really explain why. Furthermore, even if Olive didn't want to resort to doing sex work in order to make a quick buck, her friend Chloe was loaded with money and she has the ability to make thousands of dollars within a single night. Why not ask Chloe for a loan to help her brother get the treatment that he needs? And why not promise Chloe that you'll pay off the loan by going on dates with the sugar daddies? This might seem like a nitpick, but when I saw this movie, I kept asking myself whether Olive tried exhausting every single avenue of making money before resorting to robbing dangerous gangsters. Which brings me to the second problem that I have with Black Olive, which was the ending. Towards the last leg of the movie, Olive is told about an opportunity to rob a wealthy gangster by two low-level drug dealers that she barely knows. Sure, Olive was desperate during this point in the story, but up until this point in the movie, she has exercised some level of common sense in order to survive, and she already had a sugar daddy named Dr. Schuster in her pocket and was willing to give her the money that she needed. But Olive and her friends successfully robbed the guy, only to go back to the two drug dealers that she barely knew, and those drug dealers only planned to double-cross Olive and her friends by taking the money and killing them. Olive and company somehow escaped certain death, only to remain in town with all the money, long enough for the guy that they robbed to track them down and confront them. And unbeknownst to Olive's friends, Olive had stolen some valuable diamonds in addition to the money that she planned to keep for herself. The movie ends with Olive flushing the diamonds down the toilet after being surrounded by armed men that were looking for those diamonds. And to this, my only question is why? Why did Olive do this? Up until this point of the movie, Olive's motivation to move the way that she did was to survive. She likely would have survived this encounter with the three guys if she handed the diamonds back. And even if she left the room with nothing, she still had Dr. Schuster willing to sponsor her, and she had a disabled brother to take care of. Why would Olive seal her fate by tossing her only leverage in escaping the situation alive? And why couldn't the movie show what happened to Olive afterwards? I know I'm asking a lot of why questions, but I really wanted the movie to end with Olive either paying for her lapse in judgment or learning from her mistakes and forging a better path for herself and her brother. But on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give this movie a solid 7. It was entertaining to watch for sure, but that ending really messed me up as well. Nevertheless, I would recommend Black Olive as a must-watch on Tubi. And this marks the end of the review. If you have any questions or comments related to the review or the movie, feel free to leave them below in the comment section, and I'll be sure to reply to everybody. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.